Right, so highlight of the week here. This person is obviously an inspiration to this team for a while now, is definitely building up to become a sales leader. Even been actually kind of showing that even though you can be like on vacation-ish, I guess is kind of the word is, but you can still be working. So meaning that this person here, she's been at her lake lot kind of thing where she goes for the summer, but she's also working. She's also talking to people. She's also building it there. And that means you can go do it back and forth. And the power of Zoom actually keeps you connected, right? And that's the power of putting your energy towards it. And you get to see her share. She had a great week. She's actually had a great, about 4, 5, 6 weeks while she's been out there. But she's been a really big inspiration to the team here. And going through definitely some troubling things, but also at the same time, just moving forward, showing by example. So with that, guys, we have Jeannie. Let's give her a huge round of applause. Just guys have to unmute yourselves, if it's okay.
There you go. Okay, can you hear me now?
You betcha.
Okay. Thank you for that, Mark. I appreciate that introduction. And I'd like to also thank...
Sorry, Jenny.
The camera. It's like right at your chest.
There we go. Yeah.
Are we good?
Fantastic.
Okay. Anyways, yes, I would just like to thank the leaders for nominating me to be the highlight of the week. I'm always very humbled and appreciative of the recognition that D6 gives to all of us. So very grateful for that. As Mark said, though, I have been in BC quite a bit, but I do feel like I've been a little bit out of touch with everyone. It's tough when you're not here in body. Zoom is awesome. Obviously, it's kept me connected. But it's tough not to be here with everybody. And so because I was spending most of my time in BC, I was doing 10 days there and I was doing about 5 days home. I was trying to keep the momentum going, but it was tough because my kids were home and all hands were kind of on deck to help my dad because he's been suffering with some major health issues. So that's been kind of tricky, but I've been trying to keep moving along to get past it. And that's actually what I wanted to touch on today, is how I balance my family life with work and still manage to get stuff done, because in the beginning I was struggling with that. And I was frustrated because I felt like I was kind of just doing everything sort of poorly and nothing 100%. It was really difficult. So because of these trainings, I've learned so many things, but the big one for me actually was calendarizing everything. And the reason why I was delayed so long in doing that and accepting that is because I thought it seemed very militant and very unflexible, but it wasn't until I started calendarizing everything from my appointments, when I'm doing follow-ups, grocery shopping, time with friends and family, because I was finding I wasn't even spending any time with my friends, I was just doing combined. So it wasn't until I started doing that that I felt I was able to 100% focus on what it was I was doing in that moment versus my brain always swirling around with, oh shoot, I can't forget that, and inevitably I would end up forgetting stuff anyways. So really grateful for that. And because of this, I've been able to blend my life as a family girl and also a working girl, and I feel like I'm doing much, much better at both. And without being totally aware of it, D6 has been kind of woven into the fibers of my family, my life. My son is here on the floor right now because we had a milk spill in the car on the way to school. So anyways, the other thing I'd like to share is that when I started doing this, my husband thought, okay, this will be great. She can help to bring in a little bit of extra money, maybe sell to some friends and family, and kind of thought that would be it. And now that I look back, perhaps that's the way I thought it was going to be too. But I definitely surprised both of us. I'm seeing myself so far outside of my comfort zone. And just to put a little bit of context to it, in my whole life, I did whatever I could to avoid doing this very thing, speaking in front of anybody, one person or 10 or whatever. In university, midway through a semester, I would drop out of classes if there was an oral presentation. I was just out. So what Combined has taught me, the leaders, our trainings, the team, is that success and achievement is on the other side of fear. And so in my 40s, have had this revelation that this is where I need to be, and I need to push past it. And it's been really awesome, both for my business life, but also for my work life. So super, super grateful for that. Like I said, because of Mark, our trainings, our leaders, and our team, I attribute this awakening, success, and achievement on the other side of fear. Now, obviously, we can't all be as brave as Maggie. I definitely am not. But my suggestion to others, though, if you're having difficulties gaining traction or developing that grit that we spoke about on Wednesday, is to partner up with somebody that you're compatible with, that you kind of have complementary personalities to go out there and talk to people with, because then you can shoulder the no's and the rejection and kind of get used to it, but have somebody there to push you past and keep bringing each other up, also to share the yeses. I know we have WhatsApp and whatnot to do that, but it's nice in the moment to be able to share it. Maggie and I have had, high fives in the parking lot, tears in the parking lot, like happy tears. And when we get a rejection, it's just nice to have each other to, tamper it a little bit. And then just quickly an update on my family's claims, because the last time I was the highlight of the week, I think we were at number 4 claims that we've made with my family, and now we're on number 7. The most recent one is my daughter just gashed open her leg beside her knee and needed to have 15 stitches, and she works for a Orange Theory Fitness, and so that's what she has to do for work is do these workouts. So anyways, that's our 7th claim. So kind of cool. Some of the claims have come through really quickly and easily, and others, it required more information. And so I'm feeling that, these claims experiences that we're having is helping me to better help my clients through theirs, because people get so frustrated when they think they get a rejection letter or a decline letter, but that's not the case. You can just keep trucking, and every single time, both for my clients and for myself, we've achieved the claim in the end. So it's a pretty cool experience, and nice to have that extra little bit of cash too. Anyways, just to sum up, I couldn't be more proud of being a part of D6, having the leadership that we have, and being able to grow with everybody together from where we are. So that's it.
Super.
Give a huge round of applause. Oh, fantastic. What amazing words. I think that she's, Ginny, one of the best things about Ginny is that she's just so relatable, right? She's just speaking from the honest truth out there of what's happening in her life. And how has everybody else felt about, coming in front of a room and speaking? Has anybody else been nervous about that before? Right? I can relate to that 1000%, because I would fake phone call, like I always say, and leave the room and find any reason not to go in front of the room and speak. But just on the other side of that fear was a life you can't even imagine, because you have to go through those things. So Ginny, your speech, what you're going through, that you consistently being one of the top producers on the team is so encouraging. And I can't believe you have 7 claims. That's amazing. I'm just looking for one. Well, Randy will help me with that. But so great job, Ginny, right across the board. Very inspiring. Let's give her a huge round of applause again. Woo! So great. So let's take a break here. We'll come back at just before 10 o'clock. So take your break. Make sure you get everything done, and we'll come back exactly at 10 o'clock, and we're going to run through an awesome training. So great job, everybody. Great job, Ginny. Fantastic. Get into the training today. So again, remember, Mondays is a lot more vision practical. We had a great training on the vision. Definitely, if you haven't seen it yet, it should be loaded up on the thing very soon.
Will be by Friday.
By Friday, it'll be on there, just to refresh a little bit of the vision of some stuff that maybe I haven't shared before of where this company is going, just to make sure you understand that this is not just something that you're just joining now, as in it's already done. There's a lot of insurance companies out there, businesses, life insurance, car insurance, a lot of things. Those things have gone through their heyday. This is a brand new insurance pretty much, but it has 100-year-old backing, and it's surrounded by $1 billion companies that have the money, have the income, and they know this game. So it's like probably the perfect storm. So make sure you definitely watch that again, just to refresh and understand. And when you're bringing somebody on here, again, we're not looking for people that just want to come here and make an extra 20 grand a year and just want to have something like, this is something that can be huge for your life. And you can, and like Jerome said, this is not just from my words, this is Jerome saying he's never seen anybody come into a business and within a year you can get up to $1 million. That doesn't happen in insurance. Insurance usually, to get to that, if you want to get into like life insurance and start now, it takes you about 10, 20 years to get to that, because it's that heyday is kind of gone. So this year, it's a huge opportunity for us right across the board. But today we get into practical. So Thursday's practical, get into some understanding the game here. So we've been going through the 4-step process, learning it, knowing it. You should be able to spit it out at any time. It runs through your psyche. That there's a process right across the board here in the office that everybody knows how to do. So if you send somebody else to a presentation, it's duplicatable, right? Because again, selling, you can learn selling by just fault over 3 to 5 years of experience, right? But we want to have some type of system that everybody's coming into on board. So we have our 4-step process, and then we have our step 1, which we've gone through very quickly, guys. If you haven't seen this, we can post it in the group again. So make sure you're getting through these words. There's a lot of science behind all this. But also when you're talking to people, there's a lot of the objections or anything like that. You can just get people, as we are right now, we're kind of promoters, and this is a lot of promoting the business. And if you don't have this psyche in your game, you might want to get it. And you might be like, oh, but I have the perfect phrases. I get that 100%, but you want to have this in your phrases all the time, right? So we're going to make sure we touch base on this maybe a little bit more on Monday on getting to the psyche of why to do all this stuff. But here is just, going through the example of all those right across the board. But today we're going to step 2, which is Form IQ. Great job.
Awesome.
So I'm going to, kind of leave it over to Dana here, because definitely she's been doing this since her inception into into the insurance industry since birth. So it kind of goes through all these. So what do they all stand for really quickly? Occupation. Money/motivation.
Awesome.
And then insurance and qualifications, right? So again, when you're sitting down with somebody, you tell them why you're there, you give them all the ideas of the industry, you pretty much tell them all the things that you don't like about insurance, and this is why this is different. And then the second one here is to find out information about them. And then you can actually bring out a sheet called Form IQ and ask them these questions and actually fill this out. So here's your questions that you're going to go through. I'll get Danny to run through some of these questions on what you should be asking on the family, and you can always add extras to it, but here you go.
Awesome. So really simply, when I go through this, it's not it is structured, but it's not structured. You have to get to the point where this is a conversation. I can do this in a regular conversation with someone I just met at like in the lineup at Tim Hortons. Actually, Angelo and I were doing this the other day. We were sitting here in the office. He's like, well, what should I say to this person? And like, as I was going through it, I'm like, well, just call them and then ask them how things are going. How's their family? How's work? How's, what are they doing for fun these days? So it's actually just to ramble off like it's just very natural, just very conversational. So family, obviously the key questions you want to ask are who's in your family? Like, is it just a husband and wife? Do they have kids? Stuff like that. So occupation, what do you do? What are you doing for work these days? Really simply, what kind of stuff do you do at work? Because this is an appointment scenario. So obviously you want to get a little bit more detailed. You want to find out if their work is risky. You want to find out if they're maybe dealing with hazardous materials, stuff like that. Stuff that would trigger you to go, okay, this is the kind of coverage that they would need. What about your spouse and kids? Some people have teenage children. They have jobs. Okay. What do they do for work? Does your spouse work, or is she a domestic engineer? And then it's my favorite. And then recreation. What are you guys doing for fun? Always when you bring this one up, you can say something along the lines of, this one's my favorite because we don't just cover people at work, but we cover them for all their recreational activities 24/7. That's really unique. It's a great thing to say there. And then what do you guys do for fun? Just asking them, are you in any sports? Do you, like, this is Alberta, do you go hiking? Stuff like that. Hiking, camping, fishing, hunting seems to be really popular here. And then what would you like to do for fun that you may not be doing now due to the risk factor? This one's a good one because a lot of people avoid certain things because it's too risky and they can't afford to miss work, or they can't afford, to get hurt. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. So guys, honestly, remember this is you bring out that piece of paper if you want, or it's on your iPad, whatever it is, even if it's basic, because it does give you a step into, people understand now that you're going to be asking them questions. Now I wouldn't put these questions on there, but you just have like family, like on that form, we'll send it in the group later, but family, occupation, recreation, and then you memorize these questions here. And then you actually start writing their answers right there. So you don't have to know it again, but you have a lot of fun with it. Because as soon as you know in the family, if you find out they have a family of 3 or 4, what do you know? What are you excited about? Family plan. You know, you're like, wow, they just got a discount. Now you got it excited. Like, how fun is that to now change your energy? Like, oh my God, you're gonna love the family plan that you're gonna see here today, where some of your kids are gonna be covered just to be part of the family, right? So then occupation, what do you do? Having fun with this. The reason why they're here is so that you can practice your presentation and have so much fun with it. And like Dana said here, my favorite, because we cover not just at work, but all recreational activities 24/7, have fun with it. This should be a very, very exciting time for you to talk to them, because this is our bread and butter, learning about them, and you're having a lot of fun with these first 3.
So the next one is money. This one, it's sometimes for some people, especially new in the industry, I find that people get a little awkward asking this question, but remember that you're there because you're becoming a financial services professional, or you are a professional in this industry, and you have to know how much money they make if they're going to qualify for certain coverage, or if you're going to help them tailor something towards their budget. This is just a necessary evil. And be relaxed and like lighten up a little bit when you ask this question, because if you're just like, and how much money do you make? They're going to feel super awkward about it. But if you know their industry and you know kind of general, like what people make in that kind of industry, you can throw it out there just and ballpark kind of what kind of income are you guys making these days, blah, blah, blah. I know mostly people in your industry make what amount of dollars or whatever. But in order to make it a little less of a stressful situation or uncomfortable situation for you, one thing that you can say at the beginning is industry standard is that you spend the first working hours wage of every week towards covering yourself and your family. So if you go into that conversation, you hand them the privacy policy, you say, okay, right now I just kind of need to get a little bit of an idea of where you guys are at so I can customize something for you. Here's our privacy policy. Everything we talk about right now is very confidential. It's said that industry standard is that you spend the first working hours wage every week towards covering yourself and your family. What would you say you're making hourly? Or what would you say your first hour's working wage would be? And then you can just kind of go through and ask that way, which is a less stressful way to ask that question. It's very light.
Exactly, right? And it's not like how much you're going to spend per month. You can take that, if it's $40 an hour, you times that by 4, you're going to find where their budget is around that, and keep that, but the standard may do a little bit above and a little bit below. But again, guys, I was talking to somebody, or talking to Derek the other day, and we're talking about this one guy, he's been in the insurance industry for a very long time. And he said the most important thing in his life, which I think would be his family and kids, but it was this actually, is his insurance license. Because he's been doing it for 20 years and he gets all residuals. And as soon as he loses that, he doesn't get paid anymore. So I want you to everybody take that in. Sometimes we all went and did our schooling very quickly and did all that kind of stuff. And we were like, oh, it was the worst. You have your license in insurance. You went to school for this. This is a very proud moment, because there is people that can't get this. We have to turn away a lot of people that can't get this. So have the professional, hey, stature, I went to school. I had to go get this license. A lot of people can't get this license because if you are a criminal and all that kind of stuff, you can't usually get this. So there is a standard behind insurance and why. And so have that posture, and asking them about money should be just part of your job. And that's why you show them the privacy policy, and then you take the tone. So this is fun, as what we love to do. And then this one here gives you the stature. Remember, you're the professional.
Yep. And
you're giving them the guidance and all that kind of stuff. So awesome. Thank you, Dan.
No problem. And then the next two stand for insurance and qualifications. Awesome. So insurance, really simply, what do you currently have? What kind of coverage do you currently have in place? Really simple question. They might not know all the details about it, but if they can just give you a general idea, it gives you kind of a starting point. Yep. One thing I like to ask, if they say things like life insurance, mortgage insurance, stuff that maybe you're not licensed to deal with, depending on what your licenses are here, then don't worry about it, okay? Just know that they have it. Know that that's something that they're already paying for, that's included in their budget. The second thing, if they say like disability, a lot of people have disability sometimes, ask if they have a copy of their policy handy, because you want to analyze it and make sure, you know, if they're already covered, you want to let them know how great their coverage is. Make sense?
Awesome.
Qualifications. Height and weight, use your discretion, guys. You don't have to, as you're going through Form IQ, if you're standing or sitting across from someone that like looks pretty average sized, you don't have to ask them their height and weight at this point. If you're sitting across from someone that maybe looks a little small for their height, like they may be underweight or slightly overweight, have that in the back of your head that before you talk to them about sickness, you're gonna wanna make sure that they qualify.
Yep.
Does that make sense? But you don't have to sit here and go, how much do you weigh and how tall are you right now? Tell me. It's not one of those things. Like average size people just know they probably qualify. Any major health concerns in your family history? This can be a very light question as well. Just ask it nonchalantly. Hey, is there any major health concerns in your family history at all? Just really simple. They're gonna take whatever energy you put towards whatever conversation you're having with people, they will match it. So if you're awkward and uncomfortable and you feel weird asking these questions, they don't wanna give you the information, they're gonna feel the same way. Does that make sense? So just super light. Any major concerns health-wise for yourself and your family, your immediate family? And then does anybody have diabetes, use recreational drugs, require counseling for past or present drug or alcohol use? Really simple. Just nonchalant, lighten up. That question doesn't have to be an awkward one either. It's just like, have you ever seen a doctor go through a quick questionnaire when they're like checking you up and doing your annual exam or whatever? Yep. They just kind of nonchalantly ask you all these questions. You just say yes or no. Yeah, do that. Because it's not an uncomfortable situation then, it's just simple. And then just keep in mind, if any of the above answers, don't go in alignment with what our guidelines are, you just have to keep in mind you want to qualify them first before talking to them about product that they may not qualify for. Make sense?
100%, fantastic. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
So again, insurance, they have insurance. Don't be like, oh, you got stuff already? No, right? You high five them. Great job. Awesome. Do you know what kind of insurance you have? Let me maybe go over your policies to show you a little bit more. And if you don't know how to look through a policy, it's something definitely in your practice every day and you're studying, that's the kind of stuff you want to look over some of your friends and your family's policies so you can start to learn what you're looking for. Because again, sometimes it's a big booklet like this, but it's only probably 3 pages of the real stuff that you need to find. So be practicing that, talk to your sales leader about getting that extra skill set. And then here are qualifications. Again, having fun with this, but again, here's your posture. You put the privacy policy out. You have to ask these things, so have the posture. Because you need to know that these things right here can lead to you not talking about getting into a weird conversation saying, oh, and you can't qualify for that. Like there's nothing worse than that, right? When you went through all the sickness, right? So this is why we're doing this now. And this can all be done. All 5 of those, 6 of these questions can be done very, very quickly because you're just kind of going through the information, getting to know them. And then when they're talking, that's the best part. Because if they talk about this here and they have health concerns with the family or in the history, let them talk about it. And if they want to go on a little bit about it, you're now touching an emotional part that you can actually provide a solution with, right? And if there's any accidents or somebody like that's accident prone, this is where you're going to learn a lot of the information, not just in the recreation, but you can learn a lot of here in the qualifications. Yeah. So awesome, Dana. So this is gold. Like everything that you need to know about them in order to, they're going to tell you right here, this is how you're going to close them. This is what you're going to talk to them about. This is gold. Like this is the one piece you cannot miss this piece, or you're just going to be talking to them about stuff they're probably not interested in anyways. Make sense? So really, really pay attention to that information that they're giving you. So then obviously step 3 is presentation. Yeah. You're going to go into a quick presentation after you gather that information. Guys, we always present the HEA, HES, no matter what information you get in the Form IQ, because it's our most unique policy that sets us apart from everybody else. And you can't really determine whether or not they need the kind of coverage that we have until they know at least that policy. Because everything else, the rest of the industry has CI, disability. Ours work differently, but nobody else really has hospitalization. So all of our policies work like building blocks. I actually say this to the client after the Form IQ. I say all of our policy works like building blocks. I'm going to show you our most unique coverage first. And then I'm going to ask you a couple more questions and gear everything else that I show you towards exactly what I think would make the most sense for you. I'm going to customize a program that would make the most sense for you based on the information you just told me. Okay? So then I present it, and then I follow that quick sizzle. So you present the HEA with the quality presentation and do the sizzle just like Paige did. And then I ask these, or I say this line right after, just based on what we talked about earlier, it sounds like what you are most concerned about is, and then whatever you learned in the Form IQ,
That's what you say there. Based on what you told me earlier, it sounds like what you were most concerned about is, you know, illnesses that run in your family, or your kids play a lot of sports, so probably some accident coverage would be what you're most concerned about. Is that true? And they'll confirm that you're on the right track. Make sense? Then I asked them, now, are you most concerned about being hospitalized or being off work for an extended period of time due to disability? Because what does that question tell you? Are you going to talk to them about the disability insurance or the hospital coverage? What are they more concerned about? Okay, what are you going to customize their plan around? Does that make sense? And then lastly, are you the type of person that will go back to work no matter what, unless you're confined to a hospital bed? That's my favorite question to determine whether or not I'm going to talk to them about the HES. So this is a sickness one, HES, or the income essential sickness. Okay, because if they're the type of person that's going to go to work no matter what, sickness disability probably won't really matter too much to them because they're probably not going to take the time off. However, if they're so sick that they're hospitalized and they have to be off work, then the HES is a really great plan for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, fantastic. So I love this question here, guys, because this is somebody's like, do I use the disability or do I use the HES? Which one do I pick? Which one's better? Because sometimes we just love to pick the one that we think is better. Yeah. But it's for them, right? And if you ask that question and they're like, yeah, I'm a hero, man, I go right back to work. Perfect. You know, like that's, you know what? They're going to get their 4,200 or they're going to get their 3,300 for one night in the hospital. That's where you want to, you know, specify the time. And that's where our insurance really kicks in. Because remember, our insurance is not about just about people making money off of our stuff. It's always great to, you know, that they do, but at the same time, it's also about serious things that do happen. And that's why our hospitalization plans can't be touched. And then obviously here present, guys. So some of the information you learned in the Form IQ, you show the HEA every single time, but you also could add, if they've sent a lot on critical illness, they've said, I'm actually here for critical illness, you can show them that plan too right there. Yep. And then go through these afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. So if something sticks out for you in the Form IQ, absolutely after you're done the HEA and say, and this is something else that I think this is something I think would interest you also. That's funny. Cool. But this is something that I think based on what you told me earlier would be a good fit for you as well. And then after you show them that, go through those questions and say, here's the customized program that I would put together for you based on what you told me. Because not everybody can afford everything all at once, and everybody should have a blend of everything eventually. Yep. But you want to put the most important things in place for them now. Does that make sense?
Fantastic.
Perfect. So we're going to get to have a little bit of fun. Maybe only one scenario, I'm not sure, depending on time. But we're gonna get to have a little bit of fun and go through an actual Form IQ with actual real answers. So I'm gonna flip to the first scenario here. We're gonna give you a scenario and you're gonna tell us what you would recommend. Yep. There's no wrong answers. There's no, it's just based on the information through the Form IQ that this client has given us. What would you recommend when it's time to make your recommendation? Yeah, so what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go through this really quick and then just gonna turn to the partner you're with right now and you can kind of just go through it. So it's not like all the craziness about it. It's just figuring out what are the stuff that you would present and what wouldn't you present, or what would, you know, disqualify and all that kind of stuff, just so you can have an idea of, okay, when I'm going through the Form IQ, this is why I'm gathering this information. So you're just going to get to work with a partner, and then we'll just get a couple of examples afterwards. Zoom do the same thing, and Calgary do the same. So just break into twos, and then Zoom, you guys can all just do a collaboration. Group share. Awesome. So everybody meet Sam and Ella. Sam and Ella. Sam and Ella. Sam and Ella. That's why I got HS. So the first question is, who's in your family? Just the two of us for now. Keyword there would be for now. Sam is 32 and Ella is 30. Occupation. What do you do? Sam is a pipe fitter. Ella is a self-employed administrative person. Classic Ella. Daily activities at work. Well, Sam's job's pretty labor intensive, heavy lifting, very physical work. What about spouse? Mostly on a computer. Okay, so not too dangerous of a job. Recreation. So what do you guys do for fun? They go camping, hiking, and they really like to travel. What would you like to do for fun that maybe you're not doing now due to the risk factors? Sam would really like to go skydiving. Really, really would. But there's a big risk factor there. Money. Industry standard is that you spend the first working hour's wage every week towards covering your family. They have a combined income of $120,000 a year.
We'll come back to the page up.
Yeah. So for insurance, what do they already have? They have life insurance and then coverage like the benefits, regular stuff through the union, through work. Qualifications, height and weight, use your discretion. They're pretty average sized. Any major health concerns? Ella's grandmother has cancer. Sam's grandparents on both sides suffered from strokes and Alzheimer's. Any major health concerns for your family? Nothing currently, but we want to be proactive just in case. And does anybody have diabetes, use recreational drugs, require counseling for past or present drug or alcohol use? No. Okay. Everybody got that?
So we'll click back to the first page and then we'll click back to the second one halfway through it. So just take, honestly, about 3 minutes, just kind of going through what are the stuff that you guys would recommend, you know, what policies would you show, what kind of like, you know, kind of the budget and all that kind of stuff. Just a few things, just turn to your partner, kind of go through just the stuff that you would recommend moving forward on that one. So we'll go to the first page first, and then we'll click after about 2 minutes. Coming back to the room. All right, give your partner a high five and say thank you for the work and all the help that you provided for the team.
Good job, you guys.
That work that the Kardashians have never heard about before. All right, boom. Those, yeah, they said it, I saw a video. All right, so let's get a few examples of somebody that feels like, hey, these are the things that I would recommend. I'm pretty confident about it. And I would like to share from what you saw here from this example, just some certain things that you want to share. So we'll start off with Zach. Zach Attack. You know, just on what you believe would be the things that you would recommend and you would highlight on. And why?
We said HEA family plan, even though they don't have kids, because if they're planning on having, like she put that, I forget what the little word was in there, for now. So if they're planning on having kids, a family plan would cover the kid from moment of conception. And then income essential with return of premium for the same reason, because when the kid's ready to go to school, they'd have a nice little check for that. And then income essential, or sorry, outpatient essential accident for him because of his job. And then accidental death for both of them.
Awesome. Fantastic. Let's give him a huge round of applause. Great job. No, definitely all that kind of stuff is right on there, and he's learning from that. And also, guys, that family one, if they're talking about a family, highlight on that, because we have the one only insurance policy out there that actually covers a child before they're even born, and up to a certain date. It's crazy because there could be a complication, and that baby could be in the hospital for that long, and not just on the mom, but also the baby. And how great would that feel to actually be able to take the time off to be in the hospital with their baby, right? So one of the most amazing products, especially for moms that are, you know, you really can hit some chords there. So great job. Awesome. Anybody else from Zoom or Calgary that would like to share?
I can share it, but my carpets are getting cleaned in my office, so it's really loud. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so what we recommended was the HEA family and the HES, just because if they are looking at having kids, it does cover the pregnancy complications, and if the little one has pneumonia once they're born, we were talking about that as well. They also suggested cancer care for heart attack and stroke for Sam, because both his grandparents suffered from that, and then they were talking about cancer care for Ella, because it's pretty inexpensive and it would pay for treatments of cancer and that sort of stuff. Then we said income essentials for accident for Sam, and then they said that they would show them what the premiums were like for CI and offer that as well. And I think that's all we said. Hey guys.
Awesome. Oh, great job. Great job, Janelle. Let's give Janelle and Zoom a huge round of applause. All right, anything else from Calgary that was a little bit different that you guys want to add?
Hi. So Anne and I added a little bit of DAP and SDP because they said they do lots of travel. So we're trying to integrate some worldwide coverage as well. Okay.
Fantastic. All right, great job, Calgary. D6 clap or whatever. Just keep her doing her. All right, no, so 100%. Look at Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So just for anybody that's new, DAPN SDP is income essentials, accident and income essentials, sickness, pro bono. I don't think that's the way to use that, but the idea is, so just, you know, just to sum up, everything is different, right? Everybody's picking up something different from their form, but how great is that to pick up on the travel, right? That is something that you can highlight. So when you're sitting down with people, there's a lot here that you can, and then now people are talking about cancer. And why is that? Because we don't know what happens in the this is just a quick example, right? It's just like an example, but if they're giving up these concerns, you guys, we have to know that they've probably talked about this for a couple minutes, right? You have to know that they probably brought up a few things. If they're talking about strokes, Alzheimer's, you know, cancer, all that kind of stuff, that's probably come up in a bigger story and been an emotional part. So there's got to be a hone here a little bit too, right? And understanding that. So HEA, all that kind of stuff, knowing about they want a family, highlighting on that, the traveling, highlighting on that they do activities, everything like that. So great. So we'll just get bit of your recommendation. Anything extra on there, Dana?
No, you guys all hit the nail on the head. Like I would recommend definitely full HEA, probably because of Sam's job. I would put a little bit of HES on them as well, both family plans, like what everybody said about the pregnancy complications and baby covered from day one and all that stuff. And I would definitely talk to them about CI and cancer care.
Yeah,
for sure.
So definitely, again, CI, guys, is a huge policy that almost everybody in my family has it, everything like that. And the reason why is because, again, they get 10% day one, and then after 14 days, they get the other 90%, which we know, I was talking to George, the industry standard is at least 30 to 45 days. Yeah, so that is the reason why sometimes our prices are just a little bit like competitive on that part, is because anything happens to you, like they get a heart attack, and sometimes they're strong, sometimes they're weak, they're gonna get paid out $50,000. $50,000 can get them the right care for the whole year, or even if it's $15,000. How big is a nice chunk of money like that? Because honestly, guys, you know, in a hospital, you pay for parking. It's sometimes like 20 bucks a day. Then you have your whole family coming. So that's like a couple $100 a day. And then you got to get food, and people just like stop thinking about anything because they're just worried about the sickness. And we have to understand that we have to bring that up sometimes. And that's why it's in the needs analysis, because you get to highlight on those things that people don't think about, because it can actually go in debt like a couple $1,000s really quickly by just somebody being in the hospital for a week, just because you're just willing to spend money just to fix the problem, right? So great job, everybody. We usually go through, oh, yeah, George, hold on 1 second.
Hi there, everybody. It's George. So we had a little bit of discussion in our little group about family versus not family. So obviously, family is going to be pricier with two people. So you have to present that. It does make sense to think to the future. Excuse me, but they're going to have to decide which way they want to go. But I would present both just as a suggestion. Here's the pros and cons.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think in this case, I'd really focus on CI because of their family history. And it's probably in their face and in front of mind, and would be a good policy for them. And the other thing is coverage through work. Depending on what he has and what they have, you may want to top it up.
Yeah, great job. Let's give George D6 one clap. Fantastic, great share. And George comes from years and years of experience in the industry also, but 100%. Obviously, budget is there, and it is a family of two right now. And you want to be, talking about the family and stuff like that. But again, if it comes to a budget, you can get them on, and then you can add HES in the plans to go higher in the future anyways, right? Because we can build up right up to $300 a day.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, we're going to go to Paige first. Okay, go ahead, and then we'll go to Paige.
Are you sure? Okay. I just wanted to touch on what I said on Zoom when we were talking about the coverage through work. Some people think that if their one spouse has coverage through work and they have disability, that they're both covered on the disability, and they're not, because the disability through work is only for the person that is employed by that company. So sometimes I sit with people and they say, oh, I have disability, and we both have it, and they don't, because why would the company pay for the spouse to be on disability when they don't even work for them? So it's just letting them know that one of them is not covered on that. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Awesome, Janelle, great information. D6 one clap. Just a nice little bit of nuggets there. Good job. And we'll go Paige.
And what I wanted to just stem off from what George said, when you are looking, yes, it's all about the client and looking at price and stuff like that. It would be a little bit more expensive. Here's the thing that you kind of want to prevent as an agent, because you do have to think about your own paychecks and your cancellation rates and everything like that. If you sign up somebody, say they said, yeah, we want to save $20 and in a couple months or in a few months, 5 months. If it's under 10 months that they want to upgrade the policy, you should put them on the policy that they're going to upgrade to if it's a family, because the problem is Combined pays you out the 70% upfront. But if it's an individual policy and they cancel that individual policy and change it to a family policy, you lose your residuals for the months 10, 11, 12. You get cancellation rates, which affects your bonuses. So then you can't bonus up. You don't get the recognition in the good news flyer. So you have to try and think proactively too. If you plan on upgrading within this year, okay, maybe let's just go to the plan that you should stick to, that you want to get anyway, because for you as an agent, it could be detrimental to your back end if you're just giving them something a little bit small and then changing it. So I just wanted to bring that to people's
That's
attention.
great. That's great for the business. Because again, guys, it is client first, and it's to learn a little bit more about your own business, right? We want to keep things on the books, and we want to send an upgrading and rewrites and all that kind of fun stuff. So great job, Paige. D6, one clap. All right.
I just wanted to add one more thing. You also want to ask if they're actively trying. Like, are you actively trying? They're saying for now, or how soon, or all of those kinds of things, right? So those become critical factors. If they're thinking, yeah, in 3 years from now, well, that's different. But if they say, no, we're actively trying, or we want to start trying in 6 months or whatever, that's a big thing, because even from Combined's perspective, they say the exact same thing, that even to not even put a male spouse, or like put them on, you know, when he is looking at policies, if she can't qualify when she's pregnant, they even recommend that he doesn't take stuff, because guess what? He would take it as an individual and cancel it when the baby is born to go on a family. So even when you call in to administration, they would tell you the same thing. So you're spot on, Paige.
Awesome. Thank you, Teresa.
Add a little bit after.
Okay. Hold on one second. D6, one clap. And then we'll have a last response here.
I just thought I want to share this just because I've been doing this for such a long time when I talk to my clients. So our clients here in discussion right now are couple who are actually planning to have a kid, right, in the future. They don't have the kid yet. And the way I do it, if it's a couple planning or not, or even a single person that I would present, I normally integrate my thought of being or having this person as my referral partner. So what I do all the time is this: when I get to the point where it's a family plan, the topic already on the slide, I would integrate that. I don't really let it pass. I say, I know you don't have children right now, or you are not married yet, but you probably have people you care about who have children, who are families, and we're looking to help them get educated about this family plan because this is awesome. So that's how I say it. And look at this, when they turn 25, that's when they get their individual plans. Can you imagine that what gift a parent could give to their child? Until the age of 25, they're locked into the family plan. So that's how I sell family plans and getting referrals. Because they're starting to think about who they could actually refer to me because the family plan is awesome. Thank you.
Awesome, Mary. Thank you so much. D6, one clap. And great tips there, because guys, remember, you want to be adding more value, referrals, everything throughout your presentation. This is where you want to be looking for it, talking about it, all that kind of stuff. Family plan, you know, getting to somebody that can really support you as a referral partner. So great job. And just another touch on George. Again, guys, CI, sometimes we're not presenting it is because you don't know it. And that's not fair to the client. So if you don't know it, go home today or stay here or go with this and learn it. It's honestly 2 to 3 pages. It's very easy to understand. It's very black and white, all our policies. If you're not presenting it, it's because you don't know it. Because that's how great it is. Because right there, that's 100% what they're talking about. CI, they could have 25, 50, 100 grand in their pocket within 14 days of something happening. That changes everything for that entire family. So great job, everybody. Let's give everybody a huge round of applause. Okay, we're gonna go to video. All right, so we'll continue these. Another one, another day, maybe next Monday or next Thursday here, we'll go through another one, kind of going through a little bit more example, maybe go a little bit more depth onto a budget and whatnot to find out that. So the video in the group, again, it's a good video just talking about a lot of the stuff that we go through and where we're going and stuff like that. In the middle of the video, there's a little ad. It's about 2 seconds long. So if you haven't pushed play, so don't jump up and try and change it. It just goes really quickly. It's just a quick YouTube ad there. So enjoy this video. It's a lot of Will Smith and a lot of top, Anthony Robbins and a bunch of other guys with some great, really good tips out there. So hit push play in Zoom and in Calgary and in Edmonton. We'll come back in a handful of minutes. All right, so give that a huge round of applause. All right, so what we'll do now is just everybody come back from Zoom and from the Calgary. What we'll do now is, guys, we'll get a few shares. We'll start off in Edmonton. Something that stood out from today's training or from the video that really struck a chord with you guys. We'll do some nice quick shares of what you learned and what you're going to put into action today. And then we'll go from Edmonton to Zoom to Calgary. So who'd like to start us off? Let's go with Dana. And let's give Dana a huge round of applause for her presentation today. Great job, Dana. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. I really got a lot out of the last point of the video. If you do what is easy, life will be hard. And I really like what he said about wherever you are, at some point you made an appointment to be there. That one really sunk in. Wherever you find yourself right now, at some point you made an appointment to be there based on, what you were doing before or decisions you made in the past. You are there because of you, nobody else. I really loved that. And thank you guys so much for your participation today with the scenarios. You guys all had really great responses. You all had really great points. And each kind of person that shared picked up on something new. So it was really great. Like you could take the best of what everybody shared and piece them all together and it would be like the perfect plan. So great job, guys.
Fantastic. D61 clap. Great job, Dana. Fantastic. We'll go to Paige and then Zach.
I just wanted to acknowledge Ginny one more time. I thought it was so amazing how she said she even dropped out of university classes if there was a presentation she had to do, because that's how big her fear was of it. And you would never even know that. You were so smooth and you're so relatable. And I love that you talked about having a work-family balance and not letting that be an excuse. And also, giving a lot of shout out to calendarization, because we do talk about that all the time, and it's very important to calendarize even your friends in and your family on top of work. So I thought that was amazing. You did such a good job. You can't even tell that you were nervous at all or anything. You were amazing. So great job.
Great job. Let's give a Page D61 clap. And let's give a huge another round of applause for the highlight of the week, Ginny. 100%. She hit it on the head, and usually it's the things that you don't want to do in life that gives you the path to go. She didn't want to do public speaking. Look where she is now. She didn't want to do calendarization because she thought, no, that's not. But all calendarization is doing is making you own your day. Most people just walk around like an accident, right? And if you actually do your day in the right way and you calendarize your friends, your family, all that kind of stuff, then you own it. And a lot of people go through their whole life and never even own a day. So fantastic, Ginny. Great job. All right, let's go to Zach.
I really like the scenario thing we did today. I didn't even think about cancer care until Janelle said it, and then I realized it's because I don't know that product or as much as I should anyway. And same thing with critical illness. I present it if someone says I'm worried about cancer like that clearly, and then when I present it, I pretty much just read it to them. So it made me realize I need to go home and learn cancer care more in critical illness. And then from the video, I really liked what Jim Rohn said, do it or die. Because with our business, there's a bunch of things that we don't want to do. And if you don't do them, your business will die. Like if Ginny never got around to being okay with public speaking, her business, I don't know if it would be dead, but it definitely wouldn't be where it is today. So it's just a bunch of things that you have to do every day that you don't want to do. And then the alternative to not doing them is probably the downfall of your business. So those are the two choices that I really liked from him. And yeah, today was great. Thank you.
Awesome, Zach. Great job. D61 clap. Wow, just nails it right on the head. Fantastic. Let's go to Zoom and get a share.
Hi. So much of what I wanted to say was taken already by Paige because, you know, Zach and things like that because of Jenny. Yeah, it was phenomenal. You did an amazing job as highlight of the week, and you actually gave so many golden nuggets, and I appreciate that. And you're exactly right, Mark. If you don't own your time, everybody else owns your time. You just never know where it's gone. It's just gone at the end of the day, and this way you can look back at. So once you calendarize it, you own it. Otherwise, it owns you, kind of thing. So I think that was phenomenal. So I really, really, really appreciated that. And I don't know if anybody has had an opportunity to yet, but I just wanted to remind everybody about going back into their website, going into the success libraries and checking out those little videos that are there. So if there are products that you are unfamiliar with, super, super resource. I really was impressed by those little videos. And so guys, it's such an easy, simple way to go and get refreshed in all of our products. So I just wanted to give Combined a shout out for doing that.
Awesome, Teresa. Good. Teresa, D6, one clap, and one for Combined. Honestly, guys, those are amazing. 30 minutes on each product. It goes in depth. It teaches you the benefits, the solutions, what to say, and all that kind of stuff. It's phenomenal. Every new agent is going through school, and they will see that. If you're an agent now, you just punch in your username and then your code, and you'll be able to go into Success Library. And going through these, guys, it just it speeds everything up, and it's a really, really well done program. So just to let you guys know. So thank you, Teresa, for pointing that out. All right, let's go to Calgary, or let's go to Calgary.
First, I'd like to talk because I really couldn't let this day pass without thanking the leaders putting up this kind of training for us. It's really awesome. I'd like to thank you, Mark. Dana, that was really great. Keep doing it, giving us work to do, you know, like kind of exchanging ideas, some activities while doing a training. That is so awesome. And I'd like to applaud Ginny, as we have already applauded that. But Ginny, you nailed it. Yeah, I'm happy. And Paige, thank you for the reminder of the cancellations. You know, that is really a good reminder that, you know, we need to pay attention to what we are selling and making sure that is what really they are needing. That way we don't have that, you know, I want to change this, I want to change that. So it's awesome. Teresa, please get better. Because we need you. And thank you everyone for coming. We really appreciate you. And I know it's 11 o'clock, but you know what? It's all worth it.
Awesome, Mary. Thank you so much. And 100%. D6, one clap. Okay, guys. We'll just finish with that today, guys. So great job. Give everybody a huge round of applause for everything that happened today. You know, again, it's an incentive week. It's you know, President's Week. There's extra prizes, but there's also a great start to your quarter. You can finish off the 10K club. You can do as many things as you want in any given week. They give you these incentives and all these things to just give you the extra push and the extra boost. It's all about you, though. And, you know, I think it's one of the things I been talking about, and just even hearing today, this room and D6 right across the board, the thing that's is the hardest thing about this business is this. Because I'm sorry to say this, but this is the hardest part. It's not about selling. If you just want to go and sell, I know thousands of salespeople that are actually dog crap as people. That's the real truth. It's about the money. They treat people rude. You know, all that kind of stuff. Their home life. They do this. They cheat. They steal. All that kind of stuff. They don't care, and that's what you people look at success. This room is the situation that happens here, and sometimes, you know, and I'm every single week I don't get ever upset or anything like. It's just I love it because when you show up here, when you're still part of this team, you don't know the value of what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Because when you hear somebody that was scared to public speak and now is public speaking, and it seems as crisp as anybody else I've ever seen in my entire life, and next thing you know, she's doing this, and she's, you know, she's inspiring, everything like that. Every given week you have a chance to inspire, to become somebody better, but it's not easy because your whole life you've been taught the other way around. All the negatives, it's this and that. Like, go to a job that you've been to before and ask ever, do they care about you? I'm not talking about, oh, here's it's amazing what happens when some people, like another place, would get like a pizza day. It's like, oh, my boss bought pizza. Like, and my sister was, I'm like, what? Like, who cares? The guy he pays you this and he makes that. Do you know that kind of thing? It's not, this room here is about growing every single week. And it's not easy because I know, because the stuff that I say is not just like, go sell, go sell. The leaders don't go, hey, go sell, go sell. It's like, hey, let's be better people and work together and how we can build each other up. Because the only thing that happens in this culture, when you come in this room, if you are not part of being a better person, you don't last long here. People come in here and they go, and they don't like it because there's accountability 101, and it's not easy. Because guess what? You are a leader, whether you are a sales leader, district leader, you are a leader in this room because you are questioning yourself every single day when you come here. And when that thing finally switches on and it clicks in and you can have everything in your life, that's what this is about. So when you guys are here and you're sharing in the WhatsApp groups and you're on Instagram, you're not just doing that because you don't feel like it today. You're doing it because this team's going to hold you accountable and you're going to continue to get better. So I understand that sometimes this is the process. It's over years, but I guarantee you, you will have a different type of life when you start focusing on the real things about it. Because I tell you, I've made money in my past, but I had to go travel the world for 3 years trying to find, that can't be it. Because money just gets you stuff. And then you're like, that's not it. This is the shot, guys. So go out here, inspire every single week. Your wins, everything we're doing is amazing. Let's go out here and have one of the best weeks ever. Congratulations to Ginny. Thank you, Dana, again, and awesome for all the things you guys are doing. So with that, guys, we're District 6N? We got this. For District 6N? We got this. For District 6N? We got this. Turn your neighbor, give them a high five. We got this. Great job, everybody. Fantastic. Great job. Thank you, Ginny. Thank you, everybody. Great job, Calgary Zoom. Fantastic.